Alright, welcome back to PC Building Simulator, and we are back in free build mode. It's been a little while since we were in here. I'm in one of the offices where it's from the esports expansion, which is kind of fun. I like the lighting, it's clean, the walls aren't made of like tape, it's not too dark, you know, it's good. But today, what we're going to do is we built lots of, fun computers. We've recently gotten 30 series water-cooled cards. There's lots of fun stuff going on. We're going to kind of keep going with this. We're going to do some water cooling. We're going to do some 30 series again. We're going to do a small form factor build, though. Specifically, in this case, the Silverstone LD03, one of like the best small form factor cases in the game. Because today we're going to do a Super RGB Mini PC. So kind of going on the Super RGB idea. Lots of RGB, lots of performance, super extra. But we're going to do it in a small form factor. Super extra in a small form factor. I think that's, that's it. I guess that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and start tearing things apart. The Silverstone LD03 is a super interesting case. It's kind of like a vertical chimney style, so you'll see it's a little interesting. We pull this panel off first, and then we can pull off these other two side panels. This top part is also removable. And then we've kind of got access to everything. You'll see that the way this is going to mount in here is going to be a little different. So we'll remove the dust filters from the bottom and the side, and then we can get right down to installing our motherboard. I've got it set to only show us motherboards that fit this PC. So we see only mini ITX motherboards, and we're going to choose the Gigabyte X570i Aorus Pro Wi-Fi. It's got some nice like edge lighting. Actually, a lot of them do. I haven't used it in a while. I thought, let's do it. Let's use it. So we're going to go with that one. And it's going to mount all the way up here, which means the I/O is going to go out the top of the computer. And that makes the cable management a little interesting. But it could be worse. I've seen something come out the bottom. That's arguably, worse. All right, so obviously AM4 board, which means we're going to be rolling with Ryzen. And because Super RGB PCs are all about being super extra, that means we're going with the 16-core, 32-thread 5950X. Ridiculous. And there's going to be a lot of cooling that's going to need to happen to keep this cool, and also our graphics card. But in the name of getting RGB in here, we've of course got to get going on that for some water cooling. We got to do our RAM. We got to get a lot of RGB lighting going on in here. So we got our thermal paste there on the CPU. Let's get a CPU block in place. We got a few that are good that have some RGB. But I kind of like EK's just because it's got the most RGB, I think. It's the most kind of obvious. So we're going to roll with that. I haven't used that in a little while either. It looks kind of hilariously large on that motherboard, but it just barely fits there along with the inside the VRM and the power phases there. It just manages to fill the spot perfectly. So we're good there. I wish I could zoom in a little more. This is as far as I can go in, by the way. So you're probably like, man, I can't see anything. I agree. I would like to be able to zoom in more, and I can't. Oh, and I already opened these memory clips, so I can probably, not do that again. All right, so for memory, I think, we just got to go with Trident Z Royal. It's only right. And we're going to go with the silver. I wish there was a black. We're going to go 2 sticks of the 16 gig, 3200 megahertz kit. It's actually not super fast RAM, especially given how expensive it is. $220 per DIMM. I would expect a little faster than 220. Or I expect a little faster than 3200 megahertz, but hey, you want to look extra and have that glam, bling, bling, what am I saying, lighting on it, $220 a DIMM. So let's get some storage mounted here in the M.2 slot on the motherboard. It really does not matter too much. Technically, this is RGB, so I guess we'll put that in there. We need to go ahead and get a power supply installed, so because of this case of small form factor, we're going to have to go with an SFX power supply, so our selection is a bit smaller. We've got a couple from Silverstone, a couple from FSP, and a couple from Fractal Design. They go up as high as 650 watts, which I hope is just barely going to be enough wattage to power what we're doing here. I don't know if I'd recommend it in real life, in fact, not at all. I'm hoping we can get through a benchmark. I guess we'll find out. It just needs to look pretty, not function, right? Right? Okay, well, anyway. All right, so we got power, we've got CPU, we've got some CPU cooling, memory, and we've got storage. Let's start getting our water cooling put together. So, in this case, we're going to be limited strictly to 120 gig radiators. I'm guessing you can probably guess which radiator I'm going to go with based on the theme of this build. That's right, the EK Coolstream 120 RGB. And we can put one down here, and we can put another up here. These are technically both in exhaust orientation, so that's not ideal. Like, ideally, you'd be intaking through the bottom and intake it right up. The only cool thing is that we can see both the fans pretty nicely, which, you know, that's cool. So, but not the ideal setup, but still fun, I guess. Great, cool. Now, where is that reservoir gonna go, and which one are we gonna use? Would this one really fit? Wow. So it will, they'll mount upside down. We're not gonna go with that one because it's not RGB. As far as RGB, we've really got these three down here: EK's Alpha Cool and the Corsair XD3, which is the newer one. I'm gonna go with the EK one just because it's more RGB. It's larger. It's more RGB up in your face, and it just fits in there so nicely. So we're gonna roll with that one. So that gets us a bunch of stuff, but let's get a water-cooled graphics card in here. So, we can't do anything we want, and actually, not because of size constraints. Constraints. What am I saying? Ideally, like, I would have wanted to get the Corsair Strix 3090 in here, and, well, no, excuse me. No, let me remove these quick. Sorry. Hello? Okay. I would love to get the Strix 3090 in here, right? And we're not held back by size. Wow, that is a gigantic card. Compared to the other ones, you're going to see just how ridiculously large that is. It's hilarious. Now, the problem with this is these three power connectors, these three 8-pin power connectors. Well, all the SFX power supplies only have support for 2 8-pin graphics card power connectors. So, we can't do it. Not because of any other reason, just because of power. So, you know, bummer, sorry, SFX, too bad. So we're gonna have to switch to something different, but don't worry because we've got lots of other good options. So, the reference cards would work. The Founders Edition cards, of course, would work. They use that 12-pin to dual 8-pin configuration. They are also hilariously cute and small. See? It's so cute. It's got this ridiculous, ugly dongle that would probably jut out the side of the case. I'm guessing the glass is just going to kind of let that clip through, which is sad. But I do like how small they are. I mean, in a different case, that would be really cool, but we just don't need to go with a super small GPU, and I don't love how the power adapter looks. So, knowing that, I also want to show off the reference. This is the reference 3090. Look at how cute it is compared to like the gigantic Strix one. I can't believe it's so small and adorable. I just wanted to show that. But the one that we're going to go with, scrolling the list for like the 7th time, is the 3090 from, this is the MSI Ventus 3090 with the Corsair water block, and you'll see it's actually a bit larger. It's not quite as big as the Strix, I don't think, but it's only got two dual 8-pins for the power connector, so that will work. So that is going to be the computer. This is the setup. It's a lot of stuff all fit in a pretty small, nice case, but it's going to look pretty good once we get it all connected and all plumbed up. So let's do it. Let's connect it. Let's pipe things. And for piping, I'm feeling clear rigid. And for fittings, we have to go with the RGB fittings from Rasion Tech, even though they're basically useless and emit almost no RGB light at all. We have to do them purely for posterity. Yeah, we're going to do it. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to go CPU up to this radiator. I'm going to also try to make these bends look clean, if possible. It's going to be a bit of a wrestling match, but I think we can do it. I'm going to try to at least make them look like nice-ish. And, well, already that's going sort of not super well. Yes. I want them to look nice from this angle, especially because I can really see them from here. We could, of course, like, well, actually, I don't know if we can snap another one there, so we're going to leave that how it is. Good. On to bend number 2. Okay, let's go CPU to graphics card. And that is actually almost perfectly in line, but it's not. Let's do a little snip-snap like that. That's not too terrible. I just want it to be perfect. I want it to be perfect. From this angle, that's going to probably work. That actually is going to be the cleanest way to run that. And then we're going to go out the graphics card into this fitting, actually, on the reservoir, just because I think it's going to line up a little better. It's going to look pretty nice. And we're going to leave it right like that. And we're going to take this one around and down to here, which is going to take a little finagling, potentially a lot of finagling. I feel like this didn't snap as nicely. What am I clipped on? I actually don't know what I'm hitting. I don't feel like I'm hitting anything. What am I hitting? Okay, I don't think you were actually hitting that, but that's fine. I mean, you know, it's okay. Oh boy. Okay, okay, sorta, kinda. Maybe. That doesn't look straight to me, but, well, okay. Okay. Yes. And yes. And actually, let's, oh boy, what? That was not the corner I wanted. And then you. And you. Good. And then I don't really know what to do with you. Actually, let's go up like that to make it nice. This is the hardest bend in the whole case. Yeah, by far. By far, this is the hardest bend. Okay. Pretty good-ish. Yes. Sort of. Kind of. It's like it looks good from one angle, and then I find 2 more angles it doesn't look good from. Oh, come on. I want you to be... I've got too much going on here. This is we surpassed. What, are you not gonna let me? Can I have this? That was like so sensitive. Why is that so sensitive? Yeah. Yes. Beautiful. Okay, and then we're gonna go radiator to radiator. It's just gonna need a little help to make it look clean, but it's almost there. Let's delete this. Let's just snap that in line, and it looks nice and easy, right? And simple, right around that bracket. Beautiful. Okay, so there's that. Let's get our cabling done. I'm going with white braided cables. I just felt like, you know what? I don't do a lot of white braided cables. We should do it. There's our 2 8-pins for the GPU. Let's go radiator to motherboard, daisy chain radiators together, motherboard power. Oh, not that. Case. And then we just need to connect the big motherboard cable and our reservoir. And that is that. Now we just need coolant. How am I going to decide? How am I going to decide? How do I ever decide? I feel like I always gravitate towards like an obnoxious color of purple in one of these. Oh, yes. It's beautiful. I don't know why. It just feels right. Feels right. While that's filling up, I guess we can go ahead and get a USB drive inserted in here. And also, I guess we could probably put dust filters back on. Can I do that? Okay, glad you let me do that. Kind of was worried that I maybe did that in the wrong order. And our bottom one, not that it matters because it's in exhaust orientation, but hey, PCI lock, do we need you? Yes, okay, we'll lock that graphics card in. That's probably a good idea. But isn't that cool? Look at how good that vertical graphics card looks. Oh, it looks so good. But the little dorky card would look dumb, so I'm glad we went with the big one. All right, that'll get our operating system installed. We'll get some RGB set up, we'll do a little benchmarking, and then we will check back in right after that. I think it's a firm rule that you have to have every Super RGB PC be flashing rainbow. It's just a rule, but it looks pretty good, I gotta say. Maybe the white cable, I'm not sure. Maybe the white cables wasn't it. I don't know, but otherwise I'm into it. The GPU looks amazing. I love it. Let's check out how we did. As far as OCT goes, amazingly, 2120 rads is actually keeping this cool. 77 degrees C max on the CPU, 16 cores, it's crazy, and 75 degrees C on the GPU. So actually, I don't know how it's doing, because I feel like I've been in different cases with less cooling, and it's been worse than this. But hey, I'm happy, it's working. I thought we were going to be bouncing off 90 C plus on the CPU. As far as 3D Mark goes, 15,677 total. That's the 16,039 on the CPU, 13,900 on the GPU. We just have the XMP settings set for the RAM. But yeah, that's it, basically. That is a Super RGB PC Mini edition. Small, tiny, little guy. I don't know how to say it. We can put these side panels on first, go to the sides, and then we can do the front, and we can also do the top, so you can see how the I/O comes out that little slot there. It's very cute, but it looks good, all smoked out with the glass too. Still looks pretty nice. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and if you did enjoy this video and want to see more videos of PC Building Simulator or any other games I've been playing, be sure to subscribe. And either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. See ya.